right, guys, we are just about ready to get started here on our live stream show. That's right, it's Sunday night, y'all, and it's just about time for that live stream fishing show here at Hubbard's Marina. Josh, I think we got to get rid of desktop audio when you get a minute. All right, so as I was saying, we're just about ready to get started on that live stream show. It is Sunday night, June 13th, here at Hubbard's Marina Studios. And we are just about ready to get rolling on our live stream fishing show. Tonight, we've got a special one lined up for y'all. We got a little video interview with the elusive Captain Brian, who tends to be offshore more than inshore this time of year. But we've got that lined up for you guys. We also got some great photos to talk about tonight. And no callers. We're going to focus on your questions this week. We've had some guests, we've taken some callers, and haven't really had time for your questions in quite a few shows. So we're going to switch it up again. Like to keep you on your toes so you don't know where we're coming from. But we are just about ready to get rolling. Anthony Barnes, appreciate you getting us started out there with those stars. Nick Nieves, appreciate you this morning sending some stars on the morning video. We are just about ready to get rolling here as soon as Joshua gives me the go-ahead. We are ready to rock and roll. Oh, Josh gave me the go-ahead. Look at that. We're ready to rock and roll early. All right. Let's see if I remember these buttons. I think I remember the buttons. There I am. I did remember the buttons. Look at me. Well, happy Sunday night, y'all. Thanks for tuning in and joining us for this Sunday night live stream show with us at Hubbard's Marina. We're going to be talking all about nearshore and offshore fishing tips, tricks, and more, answering your questions live. Remember, if you are watching on Instagram, you can go to Instagram.com and watch on the internet, and you'll be able to get a full screen view and turn that camera sideways. Whereas if you're watching on the Instagram app, it's definitely going to make it a little bit weirder of a view. So make sure if you're watching on Instagram to go to your phone's browser, and that way you'll be able to get a what do they call it? Landscape orientation view. Whereas if you're watching on the app, you can only watch it vertically and it kind of looks funky. It cuts off the edge. But don't forget to like the video for us. Double tap the video if you're watching on Instagram. If you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to like the video. Share it to your favorite fishing club. And don't forget to like our page. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment and give that video a thumbs up for us. Michelle Lorenzo, David Pruitt, appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for those stars. If you're not watching on Facebook, those stars are just basically a way for Facebook viewers to kind of show their support and help us to fund more cool things like these live shows. Robin Swindell, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Speaking of supporting, Josh, if you got a moment, can you pull up that photo? I don't know if it ever uploaded to the file yet. If it didn't, we'll pull it up later. But I'm excited about it. I want to show it off. We've got that folder. Yeah. He's pulling it up now. So what this is, guys, is this is the new supporters t-shirt, custom designed by Salinity Gear. So if you're part of our supporters group, not only do you get that private after show and all that exclusive content through the week and get to see things early, you're going to get now a free t-shirt. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Got the Jameson bottle, the hogfish, the fishing poles. I love it. I'm so excited to wear that t-shirt. I kind of designed it for myself. Hopefully you guys like it too. But if you're a supporter, a part of that private supporters group, you're going to get a free t-shirt out of the deal on top of all the other great stuff you have, including that private after show. So if you're a supporter, don't forget to join us for that after show. Speaking of free t-shirts, shout out to Salt Strong. Thank you for sending me some new t-shirts. Love your gear. Estelle Wolfman, thank you for those stars. Appreciate you. With that, let's get into those photos and show you guys what we've been catching inshore, nearshore, and offshore. But we're going to start inshore, show you guys what we've been seeing inshore. So redfish. A lot of redfish around the docks and around the bridge, around the jetty. Been seeing a lot of redfish inshore around those islands, mangrove shorelines, oyster bars. The redfish bite has been very steady lately, to say the least. We've actually been seeing those redfish biting on dead shrimp and cut baits, cut threadfin, cut carcass even. We've been catching those redfish on. A lot of redfish around the docks and around the bridge light, dock lights at night towards the bottom. The snook are thick, and we've been seeing a lot of snook around the bridge lights and dock lights. The guys fishing around John's Pass are tearing up some nice, good-sized snook for sure. Flare hawk jigs, slow-moving paddle tails, live shrimp, greenbacks, pinfish, all valid options for those snook. And we are also seeing plenty. Oh, is that it? All my photos? I thought I had some trout photos in here. There was some trout photos. I must not have put them in the folder. But we've been seeing some big trout around the jetty in the morning, around the beaches in the early part of the day, just after sunrise. But a lot of snook at night, a lot of redfish during the day, and vice versa. You can catch a little bit of redfish at night. You can catch a little bit of snook during the day, but predominantly redfish during the day, snook at night. Alrighty. Well, let's move in to near shore and offshore. But one programming note that I forgot, guys, is we do give away over $700 in free fishing trips during these shows every week. In order to be eligible to win some of those free fishing trips, you do have to comment one time. You have to comment one time. That's it. On the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. So if you're watching on the Captain Dylan Hubbard Facebook page, the Smokey and Dusty Show Facebook page, one of our fishing groups, that's fine, but you have to navigate to Hubbard's Marina on Facebook and comment one time there on the Hubbard's Marina live stream in order to be eligible to win. You can continue to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you're watching. You got to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream in order to be eligible to win. Karina, appreciate those stars. Thank you. All right, so with that, let's get into these nearshore and offshore fishing photos. Tons and tons of red snapper out there. Some big gag grouper. We're catching some red grouper mixed in with those species. But it's red snapper season, and that is what we are focused on and doing well on. The hub fishing kind of shallower water, still catching some keeper red snapper. And we've been seeing some nice mahi-mahi occasionally. This is a hub charter, not fishing super far from shore, but still catching those keeper red snapper with some of our experienced anglers for our buddy Rick Waldrop's birthday celebration. And nice red snappers from the 39-hour trips. They've been catching monster piles of those 39-hour red snapper. And then mangroves. Look at that sucker. Big old mangrove snappers. Some beautiful red snapper on the 39-hour trip. These red snapper photos are just endless. Dime a dozen, if you will. That is a big old red grouper. Some more mangrove snappers. Big red snapper from the 39-hour fishing trip. We've been seeing some hogfish occasionally, but the hogfish bite has been tough. Not seeing a ton of hogfish around. Lane snapper near shore on our 5-hour half days, 10-hour all days. We've been seeing them. Some fat red grouper and red snapper. The Flying Hub 2 has been crushing it out there. Captain Joe, Captain Rich, really doing well on the Flying Hub 2. Seeing occasionally a kingfish on the 39-hour trip. Some tuna. Tuna bites been a little bit slow recently, but still the kingfish are around, and Captain Brian's going to talk more about that pelagic bite here in just a second. But wanted to show you guys these beautiful fish. Some nice scamp being caught lately. That's a scamp. Awfully dark, but a nice scamp. Big old gag groupers. Look at that red snapper. She's a healthy one. A lot of these red snapper and even some of these big gags coming up on dead bait. Dead bait has been the key lately. This was one of the last fish caught on the recent 39-hour trip. Right at the buzzer. Big old rusty belly gag. Look at the dark rusty belly on that fish. That is beautiful. About as nice as they get right there. That's a trophy gag, to say the least. Tiffany Amber, thanks for the stars. Appreciate you. Josh, with that, let's throw up Captain Brian's video and let him talk about a little bit about what we've been seeing out there, guys. Now, I will not be talking during the video, so enjoy Captain Brian. Bear with us, guys. We're getting Captain Brian up. Before the show tonight, what have you been seeing out there? You guys just got back in this morning, the big old pile of fish, right?
Yeah, we did.
How was that weekend trip? How you doing, Captain Brian?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Doing well, man.
Sorry to hear that.
So we wanted to talk a little bit about what you've been seeing since you're offshore now for these 39-hour trips all the time. We don't get a chance to have you on the show anymore, so wanted to ask before the show tonight, what have you been seeing out there? You guys just got back in this morning, the big old pile of fish, right?
Yeah, we did.
How was that weekend trip?
The weather's been nice. You know, the weather's been real good, a good solid anchor heading, not too much current. Right now, we're able to get out into the deeper water with just the 8-ounce leads. Wilbur.
Will, get your butt over here, son. Hop in there.
So we're fishing. We're fishing some of the little pieces of bottom that have a big show on them, and some of the little pieces of bottom that don't have a show on them. But we're catching fish on almost every stop. We made one stop yesterday. Nice little show on the bottom. Nothing. Took us about 20 minutes to figure out. All right, this ain't working, guys. Reel them up. But, you know, a lot of red snappers, they haven't been picked through. It's early in the season. We're getting some nice ones. 15, I'd say.
What was the big one?
The big one was 18 and a half.
What was
this
the grouper?
morning. The grouper, the gag was 32.
32,
And
wow.
Caught him at the buzzer. Almost the last fish on the last stop.
That's awesome.
Lots of fish, lots of action, lots of yellowtails.
Yeah.
The mangroves are coming up for us pretty good at night. If we start in the deeper water around 150, we've been getting gags on our night bite. This last weekend we were a little bit shallower up in the 110 and the 120, and we didn't get the gags at night. Just a couple, you know.
Yeah.
But then we work offshore, chasing the bigger fish all day. The 170 to 180's been producing all the way out to 240.
Nice. A little bit of everything, deep water and not. And I know you've been seeing some pelagics out there, right?
A couple of kingfish. We haven't landed a tuna in a few weeks. We haven't seen.
We got one on a Garrett trip.
You got one.
And
on
we did see a sailfish jumping, but sporadic.
Yeah.
It's very sporadic.
Hit and miss on the pelagics.
It'll let go any day, and then we'll come home with a pile of them.
Cool. How about the mahi? We've been seeing them occasionally near shore. Have you guys been seeing them out there?
I'm seeing more of them being posted and caught in 90 feet of water, and I'm 50 miles west of there.
Yeah.
You know?
So kind of almost closer to shore than anything.
Yeah, right now it's always a good time to get out there on your little 25, 30-foot boat and get some mahi in June. I mean, every year.
Gotcha. All right, what has been the hot bait lately?
Cut bait's working real well. I like using the thread herring. I prefer a sardine, but I get a lot of bites on the threads. The gags are coming up on the bigger baits.
Yeah.
You know, the guys that are fishing the little bridges and getting the big pinfish, they're the ones catching the big gags.
And also I heard this last trip some of the bigger gags were caught on even cut dead bait, like some of those bigger live baits that we catch while we're out there, like the porgies. They were actually using some of those that had died and catching them well.
Bonita's been working real good. Bonita always works good. And the closer it gets to being just a piece of skin, the better it works. I
Gotcha.
swear.
What about the Boston mackerel? The Boston mackerel, I
We
know
had a
some
couple guys brought some Boston mackerel. Craig had some. He got him a gag
On a cut.
with a mackerel.
Nice. And he was saying he just cuts the tail and kind of hooks him up underneath the jaw like you would if it was a live bait.
Right, if you're using or even if you're using a 2-hook snell, it's like get the first one through the jaw, the second one is buried in the meat.
Okay.
I have a hard time with mackerel in the summer because I think that the sharks like the mackerel, right? They chase the mackerel all over the world.
And we're having a problem with the sharks out there, right?
Yes, we are. You stay on a spot too long, here they come, you're losing fish, it's time to go.
Yeah, and you got to move away from them. Alrighty, what about, what else are we seeing out there? We've got the gags, the red grouper. We've been seeing a couple red grouper, right?
We've had some pretty decent red grouper stops. I drove across a little hickey on the hard bottom last week. It looked too good not to try it. We whipped it around, put 14 keeper reds in the boat in 20 minutes.
Nice. What about the scamp? Are we seeing any scamp?
We are seeing some scamp, and the bigger scamp, of course, in the deeper water. I got some decent ones, 18 to 22 inch, in like 180, but then you get out to 220, and then now they're the 7-8 pound miles, 24, 28 inch gags, scamps.
Yeah. Cool. And then the mangroves have been fairly steady as well?
The mangroves have been steady. Right now, the mangroves get a little bit of a break from us. It's red snapper season. We've only got 60 days, so we're targeting the red snapper. So you have to start closer to where you're gonna get the reds, which gives the mangroves a break, which is good for them because we suck them up all the time.
Anything else you want to add in closing?
Yeah, I am a fisherman. I might be lying.
What about the Captain Brian joke of the week?
No, you got that one on the show tonight.
All right. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Whoa, you heard it here first, folks. Captain Brian's been catching them. Captain Garrett's also been doing well out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the little video segment there. Sorry for the sound issue at first. We haven't shown videos in a while, so we're still working through some of the kinks of all these cool new toys we have to play around with. But one thing I did want to make sure I mentioned, Captain Brian wanted to emphasize, was his joke of the week. We can't forget Captain Brian's joke of the week. And this week, Captain Brian's joke of the week is, how do you know if someone is vegetarian? Don't worry, they're going to tell you. Oh, so funny. All right, Josh, let's do our first giveaway of the night. We are going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. That is a $130 value. Absolutely free. Coming at you now. $130 value. Absolutely free. The lucky winner is Wayne Wilhite Jr. with good evening, Captain. Well, good evening, Wayne. You just won yourself a free 5-hour half day for 2 guests. All you have to do is text that phone number in the bottom, whatever corner that is, underneath the TV there. Text that phone number in about 5 minutes to claim your absolutely free 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Now, the next thing we want to get into here real quick is actually 2 things. We've got our new and improved online store up and running. It's not totally up to par with what we want it to be, but in our defense, in the middle of spring break, very busy time of year, we unfortunately totally had our retail system crash. And it was very unfortunate because obviously it's a busy time of year, so we couldn't really scramble and do it the right way. We didn't do it the way we wanted to do it, but we did get a new retail system. It works a lot easier, a lot smoother at the counter, and we love it. So Josh is going to show you here real quick. Josh, can you zoom in a little bit so the viewers can see the screen? Yeah, there you go. Top of hubbardsmarina.com, click shop, click Marina store, and that's going to bring you to our new retail system, our online store. It's got tackle, souvenirs, and apparel. And we've only got a couple t-shirts on here right now because we can only list items that we have kind of worked through and counted, but we've got some of our reels on here, we've got some lures on here, we've got lots of our cool apparel on here, and definitely gonna have even more stuff coming this September to an online store near you, because this September, when we slow down, we will likely close for a day or two. Not close for fishing. We'll still get our morning fishing trips out, but our midday afternoon stuff, we will lock the doors and basically get our dolphin trips out and our fishing trips out from a table out in front of the office while we have the doors locked and we're counting widgets. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be building out the online store, and virtually everything you can find inside the Hubbard's Marina retail store will be online on our online store. So we're super excited as this thing grows. So this is our very soft grand opening, with the grand opening coming later this year. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you guys that's super exciting, this project started, I don't know, last year, middle of last year. We went in and purchased quite a few new security cameras, new security system. Shout out to Iron Shield Security for making all of that come true. And then from there, we wanted to upgrade our webcams. Webcams were always a popular thing, but because our webcams were always kind of an unfortunate kind of poor quality, we've been working with Josh and really doing some cool new things, and we have a totally updated webcam. So if you go onto our website, Josh is going to show you here real quickly. If you go onto our website, hubbardsmarina.com, and click info, under the info tab, you'll be able to scroll down there to webcams. And then once on the webcam page, the Big Fish weigh-in's still kind of the same. It's a little better than it was, but still kind of the same. If you go to fishing boat unloading, that is the new and improved webcam. So you just click on the photo, and that will launch the live dock cam. And right now it's unavailable because we're live streaming, but once we're done live streaming, we'll fix this up. And it's really, really cool. It's full screen, super high quality. You can zoom in using your mouse wheel. It's really incredible. Plus, it has sound, so you can watch the half days come in, the 5 hour or the 10 hours come in, the 39 hours come in. You can watch all the chaos as boats load and unload. Really cool. Plus, that's going to be live on YouTube all week long, but we stopped the live stream for our Sunday night shows. So really cool stuff going on our webcam. So definitely want to check it out. Plus, Josh, since we live streamed the webcam all week, can people view the recording?
They'll be able to view the recording.
Really?
It's just because we're live streaming, we're not able to pull it up right now.
Ah, so just like you can watch the replay of our live stream show, you can watch the replay of the last week of our dock cams. That's pretty cool. I didn't even think about that.
I'll make a playlist on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You'll be able to go there and watch.
We'll have a dock cam playlist. So if you miss a boat coming in, you can literally go back and watch it unload. That is pretty cool. I like it. I never thought about that side of things, but definitely exciting and also a little scary that we are live streaming a security camera image that has sound. So I've made sure all the crew know, and I will have to remind them quite a few times, I'm sure, but hey, it'll be exciting. You'll be able to enjoy it too. So with that, let's get into, first question, wanted to cover off the bat. We've gotten a few questions about it, is red tide. So red tide is around the area. Josh, can you pull up a Google Chrome page and full screen pip me. So type in USF. I visit this website a lot. Should pop up in browser history. Of course not. All right, I'll have to text it to you while we're talking. But yes, red tide is in the area, and we do have some red tide around, but it is very, very spotty and really not too noticeable, especially in our area. With the exception of today, it was fairly noticeable today because the weather was a little bit more rough. So with rougher weather came a little bit more of a aerated water, and when the water aerates aerated from a boat backing in or from a big wave hitting the beach, that's what aerates that that kind of red tide organism or anything. That's the page I was looking that you pulled up there. Perfect. So click on Tampa Bay for me, Josh. No, yep, right in the middle. And zoom in a little bit so the people can see. So the orange is kind of more of a medium level of red tide. Yellow is low. Blue is very low. Green is just simply present. So we have quite a bit of red tide around the southern shore of Tampa Bay. But as you can see around Johns Pass, there is not even a recorded level of red tide. So really not as bad, not anywhere close to what it was back in like 2017-18, back in the big one in 2015. So red tide is around, yes. Is it quite as bad as they are portraying it on some Facebook groups or in some certain areas of the media? No. It is definitely unfortunate. It's definitely here, and in my opinion, you can see it's pretty much concentrated around that area where they pumped 300 million gallons of that good old Piney Point water into Tampa Bay. Surprise, surprise.
Kind of looks like your drawings last week.
Yeah, it does look like my drawings. I give them that credit. They are almost as artistic as I am. But what I was saying was basically red tide is here, but it's very, very spotty. And Josh, the people are asking for this website. Can you share the? Yeah, he already did it. So that is showing you that it's around, but not necessarily super thick. And to answer your question about it affecting the offshore fishing, it in no way affects our fisheries offshore. For example, in 2017 and 18, when we had that really bad, super thick red tide, we actually had better fishing on our 5-hour half days than we normally do. And that's because a lot of these fish aren't dumb. When that stuff starts kind of cruising, the fish will actually move away from it. So kind of on that leading edge back in 2017, as that thick red tide kind of cruised north from the Port Charlotte area around the Okeechobee outflows, that red tide, as it moved north, kind of pushed fish north. And as that came into our area, we actually got a push of more species of fish and more concentrations of fish than we normally see. So the fishing was actually better. Then once the red tide got really bad in our area, we fished outside of it to the west of it, and our 5-hour half day just simply turned into a 6-hour half day at no additional cost to you guys. And we actually carried pretty decent number of anglers and had incredible fishing. And right now we are not seeing a ton of dead fish. In the past week, I think there was 2 days where I physically saw dead fish in Johns Pass, and they were very, very scattered, and it was only very small fish. I heard reports the last 2 days that there were some bigger dead fish in the back bays, but only in certain areas, like kind of select canals that would capture that tidal flow or the wind as it pushed things across the water. So very spotty, not bad at all at this point, and not really in our area. It's more focused Clearwater Beach in north, and then around south shore of Tampa Bay. But things can change. But right now, trying to stay optimistic and trying to let everybody know it's here, it stinks. Most likely, in my opinion, 100% connected to what they did over in Piney Point, which is complete and utter BS, but that's a whole nother show. it shouldn't affect your vacations at this point. Now, red tide can disappear as quickly as it come. It can get a lot worse before it gets better. And the only thing that will dictate that is basically the weather. What's going to happen with red tide? Your guess is as good as mine. No one knows. And it's a waiting game to see what happens. The one thing that it does affect is our ability to catch live pinfish for our offshore trips. Lately, we have not had a trip where we could not catch pinfish for due to red tide. However, this week is going to be tricky because Tuesday's 39-hour trip, we got rougher weather, so it makes it difficult for our live bait boat to fish offshore where we have been catching those pinfish. So they're going to have to fish in the bay, and in the back bay, the situation's a little bit tougher back there. So if they can't get offshore due to weather, and then in the back bay, they're kind of handicapped by that red tide situation, then we will have a little bit of a tougher time getting live bait for Tuesday's 39-hour trip. But who knows? And also keep in mind, if the red tide is around and it does happen to be a little patch of it, you could struggle and really kind of work hard to get live bait, whether you buy it from us or buy it from another tackle shop or stop somewhere and catch your own and then bring it down to the boat, put it on the boat, and fight it out. And then all of a sudden you get on the boat and you get offshore and you run through an invisible patch that we can't see. You can't smell red tide. You can't see it. You can't sense it. And if you run through a patch of it, it'll kill all the bait on the boat. So super frustrating in that regard, but that is the one thing that will negatively affect our trips, is our ability to get and keep live bait alive until we get offshore. But so far, hopefully this good luck will continue where we haven't seen that issue yet. All right, Josh, what's our next question, buddy? With that, what's going on with the sand situation? So the sand is currently moving to the east. It hasn't really built in behind it, which is good, but definitely still a huge area of sand adjacent to our dock. And as we get into hurricane season, it becomes more and more troublesome. Today we had an extreme high tide with a bumpier condition, and it moved a lot of sand under our dock. So super frustrating. The county did a $35,000 study that we had to pay $10,000 of that $35,000 for that study. And guess what? After 6 months, the scientists said, you should dredge Johns Pass. Bum, bum, bum. That's what we've been saying for 30 years. But now a scientist said it. Let's see if the county will follow through. Don't hold your breath, folks. In my experience, it's more of the same. He said, she said, finger pointing, I'm not paying for it situations. We're willing to pay for our area, but this sand situation crosses state land, FDOT land, county, Army Corps land, and private land, and then it has to be paid for by, or approved by, not paid for, it has to be approved by DEP and Army Corps and the state legislature in some areas. So you've got basically, I can't spell or count, you've basically got 8 jurisdictions all siloed in these different areas that we all have to get to the table and agree upon a solution. So super frustrating. And the 6-month $35,000 study concluded, and yes, the jetty was a main goal. Adding beach groins back to Madeira Beach was a main goal. And guess what? The scientists said the $35,000 wasn't enough to cover the scope of studying anything about lengthening the jetty or strengthening the jetty. And I've been told over and over again, jetties are hard. They take too much time. We can't do a jetty. Well, folks, I am not in politics or government operations. We are a private business, and we don't like Band-Aids, duct tape, and zip ties. The government would love to dredge Johns Pass for this problem to happen again in 25, 30 years. Well, I don't. I would like to solve this problem in the short term with a dredge, but then spend the next 15, 20 years working on the hard solution of lengthening the jetty. So that way this problem won't happen for the next 120, 200 years. That's a long-term solution. Doing a dredge that costs $1.5–2 million every 10 years, 15 years, 20 years would be in the long run the same amount as building a $10 million jetty that lasts you 150 years. I'm not good at math, but that math makes sense to me. But whatever. We are going to keep working and keep trying, and we'll have some more updates on the sand situation soon. I could go on about that for quite a long time, but don't want to suck up too much of the show's bandwidth talking about our sand issue that is ever growing and ever present. Let's see, what other questions do we have, Josh? We've been looking at the extreme trip, but you're booked out until August. Yes, the 12-hour extreme is extremely popular. There's only 16 spots on those 12-hour extreme trips, and it's definitely a little tricky to get on there. This week we have some bad weather around, so that's making it even a little trickier. But I would suggest waiting and checking back. For example, if you know you're off on Wednesdays and Wednesday extreme trips are sold out till August, but you want to get on for red snapper, check them out Tuesday afternoon after you get off work. A lot of times we have last minute cancellations, and basically what we try to do is fill those spots as quick as we can, so that way we can try to work with people. So check in, check back often. Our 39-hour trips, for example, most of them are sold out until later July. If not, all those 39 hours now are sold out, but we always have cancellations. This past Tuesday we had probably 5 spots open up in total in the week leading up to the trip. So definitely keep checking back. Trips do open up and people do cancel off, so you always want to keep checking back, and you might be able to luck into one of those open spots on a 39-hour or 44-hour or 12-hour extreme trip. You never know. What is the weight, or how does the weight of your Hubbard's Marina custom rods compare to the older Penn beef stick rods, the boat rods by Penn from back in the day? It literally is no comparison. The solid glass, old school style stick is in no way comparable to our new and improved Hubbard's Marina custom Bull Bay rods. They are lighter, they are stronger, they have 100 times better components on them. There's really absolutely no comparison in the two. Highly recommend checking out those Bull Bay custom rods, Hubbard's Marina custom rods by Bull Bay Rods. And we've been sold out of the light green and red ones for quite a while, but Bull Bay just came through with a big order for us, so we've got a bunch new Bull Bay rods in the shop. So definitely come on out and see us and check out those new and improved Hubbard's Marina Bull Bay rods. All right, Josh, let's see, what is the next question? I got some photos sent to us. We'll save those for next week. How much does the food ticket on a 39-hour cost? Those are around, off the top of my head, about $50 off the top of my head, and that's going to include a small sandwich on the way out, 3-course country breakfast, a lunch sandwich, and a 3-course dinner, plus unlimited free water, unlimited free water, unlimited free coffee, probably I think around 8 to 10 sodas, and quite a few bags of chips. Off the top of my head, don't remember the specific numbers, but not bad at all. And the food is very good. The food on the way out is a lot of times like a meatball sandwich, sausage and pepper sandwich, something like that, whereas breakfast is like bacon and eggs and biscuits, or biscuits and gravy, or pancakes. There's a bunch of different options. Lunch is a variety of different things. My favorite's the cheeseburger. And then dinner is always different options. We've done a variety of different things there too. So Cool stuff, to say the least. Can you describe the sleeping accommodations for the 39-hour trips? The 39-hour and 44-hour trips, you get a personal bunk along with a fishing spot when you book your trip. And that bunk is a 7-foot long by probably 3.5, it's got to be like 4 foot wide bunk. It's comfortable. I'm a big boy, and I sleep comfortably in them. Guys like John Martin and myself and my dad, we're all big, tall guys, and we can sleep in those bunks with ease. I even like the top bunks, being a bigger guy. I don't know how much people enjoy sleeping below me when I'm in a top bunk. But they are plenty comfortable for sure. They're kind of like a Navy style bunk, but they're much more spacious than the Navy style bunk, and they have plenty of room in between them too, for your average larger gentleman like myself, for sure. And Estelle Wolfman is right. You can watch the video on what to expect on a 39-hour trip, and Estelle did a great job kind of illustrating some of those bunks, and Josh is working on putting the link right here in the chat for you guys, where Estelle kind of showed the bunks off during her trip. It's the Lady Anglers of Hubbard's Marina, what to expect on a 39-hour trip. So it's kind of a 39-hour trip through the lens of Estelle, which is a great lens. She's a gifted camera speaker, just like myself. Todd is working on his camera recording skills, but he did an okay job. Josh, what's our next question, buddy? Are we still doing a supporters dock night? Yes, yeah, the supporters dock night is still in the works. Definitely after red snapper season, because I don't think I would survive if I tried to stay up later than around 10, 11 o'clock this time of year. Except for Thursday nights when I'm doing my Fox 13 reports, and Sunday nights when I'm doing my live show. But definitely going to do a supporters only kind of dock party / fishing. We might fish a little bit. I don't know. You guys can. It'll be fun though. Do we still have to wear a mask in the shop? Nope. Ever since our great governor DeSantis did away with all COVID requirements and made it illegal for local municipalities to make any, we have done away with any and all COVID related regulations, rules, or policies, except for our staff. If our staff is sick, has a fever, can't come in until they get that negative COVID test. Outside of that, it's a free-for-all. You can wear your masks. A lot of people still do, but you don't have to. It is personal choice, personal freedom. It's a great thing. Gotta love America. How's the weather for Tuesday's 39-hour trip? Josh, roll that weather footage. Go to hubbardsmarina.com, click fishing trips, then click weather links for your marine weather forecasts. Then go to Windfinder and scroll on down to the 39-hour forecast. I do want to shout out the weather models and our good buddy Mike Boylan at Mike's Weather Page. Always good to know a weather guy and have his cell phone numbers. Not only shout out to Dave Austenberg at Fox 13 News, but also Mike Boylan of Mike's Weather Page. I was talking to both of them today. Love bothering weathermen. But it was calling this coming Friday. They were calling 40 knot winds. That's a 51 mile an hour, something like that. Almost 50 mile an hour wind for this Friday, but that has gone away, thankfully. To answer your question about Tuesday, Tuesday is looking a little bumpy. Josh, scroll down a little bit. So it's a little bumpy, a little windy, but not bad at all. Basically, they're forecasting around 13 to 17 mile an hour winds with about a 2.5, 3 foot sea. Might be a little rainy Tuesday night into Wednesday. Wednesday looks gorgeous. And then as you scroll down, Josh, you can see the weather's starting to come back up Friday. It's coming back. Who knows? Basically, what we got going on is we've got a little bit of a pressure gradient over the area right now, as a low pressure is kind of getting squeezed out by two high pressures, and that's what's causing a little bit of rain as that low pressure is kind of dwindling on top of us. High pressures are going to come together, squeeze that low pressure, and kind of pop it up to the northeast out of our area. This is the prog charts. You can see the high pressure on either side of that low, and it's basically pushing on that low, and it's eventually that high pressure is going to shift to the south and the east, and that low pressure is going to pop up and around it. So looking forward to that, and this bad weather kind of moving out of the area. It's making it a little breezy and bumpy. Today we saw a very solid 3, maybe even a little bit more foot sea in the morning, and it was even bumpier offshore, and then all of a sudden it calmed down a little bit midday and got a little nicer by end of day. But it was a rough one to start the day, to say the least. A lot of charter boats canceled today, pretty wisely, because it was bumpy. But we got some trips out in the party boats and the bigger boats, but the charter boats definitely had a tougher time. And basically, all that to answer, your Tuesday weather looks good for the 39-hour trip and looks decent for the 10-hour trips and 5-hour half day. If a weather cancellation occurs, you can always have the option of rescheduling or requesting a refund, or you can try to transfer to future credit to use that payment on a future trip. Now, if weather cancels your 12-hour extreme trip, your 39-hour trip, your 44-hour trip, those trips are sold out through red snapper season. So it's very difficult because you cannot reschedule during red snapper season. So we try not to cancel trips this time of year, but unfortunately things like weather and unforeseen mechanical issues do arise. But we're lucky to run Yamaha engines and they have a great service team, and we'll get back up and running quickly if anything like that happens. And then on our bigger boats, we have also in-house diesel mechanics, and virtually 9 out of 10 times we can get our boats up and running either the same day or next day, due to our incredible team and the incredible service of the partners we work with. Let's see, what was the most awesome catch last week, and what was it captured with? I would say probably the most notable catches was the 73-pound wahoo right before red snapper season. Captain Joe brought home a 42.5-pound gag grouper. Captain Brian brought home a 34-point-something pound gag grouper. Captain Garrett brought home almost a 38-pound gag grouper. We've had 18 and 19-pound red snapper brought home. We've seen some monster, like 9+ pound mangrove snapper. We've seen some big 5 and 6 pound yellowtail snapper. Tons of notable catches for sure. Let's see here. What other questions? Oh, you're right, Josh. It is time for a giveaway. Let's give away a 10-hour all day for 2 guests. That is a $218 value. Absolutely free. $218 value, absolutely free. Let's see who won that 10-hour all day for 2 guests. The lucky winner is Ryan Friend from Ohio. Ryan, you and a friend are going out on a 10-hour all day, absolutely free. Make sure you claim that free trip by texting that phone number in the bottom corner there within about 5 minutes to claim that free trip. Alrighty, with that, let's see what our next question is. Can you get on a waiting list to see if someone will cancel? Every year that question comes up, and my staff is so awesome in the office. The ladies want to make everybody happy, and every year I say, don't do a waiting list. Don't do it. And every year they end up doing waiting lists because they're trying to make people happy, and that's what we're all about. And this year, very first week of red snapper season, that waiting list broke bad, caused severe issues, and I threw a fit and deleted the whole thing. And let me explain why. We don't run waiting lists because A, we're blessed to be extremely busy. So someone can cancel very easily by calling in and saying, hey, I can't go on this trip. My something happened, my job, I got to cancel. As long as they give us more notice than a week on a 12-hour extreme trip or 39-hour trip, there's no cancellation fee. But when that happens, now there's an open spot on a trip that's been sold out for weeks. And if we did a waiting list, we'd have a list of 5, 6, 7, 8 names there. And what do? Call the first person, and then what happens? We call the first person, he doesn't answer, he's at work, she doesn't answer, she's at work, and then someone goes online, sees there's an opening, and books it. Literally, I have seen it where someone will cancel over the phone for a trip, and then someone books that canceled spot online within 5 minutes. So if I have a waiting list and I'm literally on the phone with John Doe, who's first on the waiting list, as I talk to him, hey buddy, what are you doing? We have a spot on this trip. Oh, we don't have a spot on that trip. Someone just booked it online, sir. How do you think you'd react? Not good. And then another example, call John Doe. Hey buddy, we got a cancellation on that 12-hour extreme trip you've been trying to get on for 6 months. Do you want to get it? Yeah, I want to get it, but I'm busy right now. I'll call you right back. Trip gets booked online. Or someone else calls in to someone else in our other studio or our other ticket office at our main or our satellite location in Johns Pass, or someone calls our ticket office out, or our ticket booth out front, or our ticket booth on the boardwalk. There's 5 locations where we have people answering the phones. We can't hit a button and say, oh, everybody don't answer the phone unless it's John Doe calling back about his 39-hour trip waiting list. It's impossible to manage, and it always makes more people upset than happy. And for example, you call the first person on the waiting list, they don't answer. You call the second person on the waiting list, they answer, and we book them because they answered. Then the first person calls back and say, hey, I got a message. I wanted to book that trip. Sorry, sir, you didn't answer the phone. We booked it for somebody else. He's pissed. And that happened the very first week of Red Snapper season, like 4 days into it. And I was like, this is why we don't do waiting list. It's gone. I deleted the whole thing. So that's why we don't have waiting lists in a very long, drawn-out, explanative way. And it's something I explain every year, but it's a very tricky thing to deal with waiting lists, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work well, and in practice, it only makes people more upset. Michael Jimmy, thank you very much for those 1,000 stars. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your private fishing charter aboard the Flying Hub 2 yesterday with Love's Tire and Auto Service over there in Tampa area. Love's Tires and Service. They did the lift on the Hubbard's Marina truck. Experts over there. Love's Tire. I think it's Love's Tires Service. Something like that. You can Google it. Love's Tire will get you there. It's in Tampa. Scott Love is the owner, and they do a great job. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Can I get it? We answered that one. Want to take an offshore fishing trip that includes correct rod and reel rentals? Well, we definitely have all the correct rod and reel rentals you need for your 12-hour extreme trips, for your 39-hour trips, for any party boat trip you do with us. We always give you the option to rent a rod and reel, and it's always a good all-around middle-of-the-road setup. If you want to bring the best setup that's going to do a little bit of everything well, we have those in our shop, but we don't rent 2-speed reels. We don't rent those custom rods. You do have to kind of get that more specialty unique tackle and purchase it and supply your own tackle. But we have all that in the shop. We have the tools and tips and tricks and videos to show you how to do it, but we don't rent that specialty tackle. Our rod and reel rentals kind of do a little bit of everything well. Let's see, what other questions do we have, Josh? Should we be concerned about the other fake Hubbard's Marina account? No, you should not be concerned. Your data has in no way been breached. It has nothing to do with us whatsoever. We weren't hacked. We weren't, I don't even know how you say it. Basically, what someone overseas did was they took the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, they copied our name, they took our cover photo, they took our logo, and they made a Facebook profile, not a business page, but a profile, and they named it Hubbard's Marina, and then took our same logo, same cover photo, and then started sending our guests friend requests. Businesses don't send friend requests. It's impossible. A business page cannot send a friend request, nor can we send messages. I can't even respond to a message that's more than 24 hours old as a business. So you have to keep that in mind. If a business sends you a friend request, Home Depot did it to me 48 hours ago. This is a very common scam on social media where scammers will take a fake profile and take the name of another individual, whether it's a pretty girl or for you ladies out there, a handsome man like myself, and make a fake account, and then they'll message friends of that person they're imitating, and then they'll make them click on suspicious links and give information. So that is what that fake account is doing. And we've actually already got it. We didn't get it shut down, but the scammer realized that we were on to them, and they changed their fake profile name. So it is no longer named Hubbard's Marina. So if you fall for it now, God bless you, because it's back into some really obviously kind of scammer-laden name that I would not attempt to pronounce. So it is what it is. This is the third time it's happened though, and I would expect for it to happen again because I'm being told that is the most common online scammer trend right now. And like I said, it's happened to Home Depot, it's happened to Lowe's, it's happened to major corporations. Definitely want to watch out for that. A business will not send you a message, and a business will not send you a friend request. If you get a friend request from a business, you're going to get scammed. So don't accept it. All right. Let's see. What other questions do we have? How does the tides affect party boat fishing? I understand the effects of tides inshore, but offshore doesn't make any difference when you're 50, 60 foot or deeper. Yes, currents and tides make a huge difference offshore, but it is not inshore fishing. There's not a tide table that says, hey, what's the tide going to be doing on this 10-hour trip on August 26th of next year? Even looking at the tide tomorrow for the 10-hour trip is impossible because A, you don't know where we're going to take you. B, you don't know the exact location. There's not tide stations offshore. We're fishing in large areas, and tides are affected by a multitude of different things. The loop current moves. It does not stay in the same place. So we use things like Roth's charts, riptides.com, rip charts. There's a bunch of different online charts and charts managers that you can get, but they are pricey. For example, the cheap one I use is $175 a year. Roth's charts are like $5K a year, and the nice one is like $25K a year for those offshore pelagic tournament fishermen. So yeah, they don't play if you want to find out what the tide is doing at an exact GPS location for your fishing trips. So it is tricky, to find out what the tide's doing, but basically we get out there and we know when the current's not moving. We stop the boat to try to get that anchor heading at the first stop, and if the boat's not moving, there's no wind, the boat's not being affected, you drop something in the water and it kind of floats straight down, fishing's going to be tough. That means the current's not moving. Dave Decatur, appreciate those stars, buddy. Shout out to Dave. And Nick Nieves, appreciate you as well. Is there anywhere in the area that I can catch shrimp for bait with a cast net? Yes, you can catch shrimp for bait with a cast net. You do have to alter your cast net. Salt Strong has some videos about that. Basically, believe it or not, you add a strip of duct tape to the outer perimeter of your entire cast net. So you put the sticky side up and you lay that cast net flat. You do a sticky side up layer on the underside of the cast net, then you do sticky side down layer, basically creating a little strip, and that slows the close of the net. It keeps the net open and flatter in the water, and then as it hits bottom, it opens, or it doesn't hit bottom in a clump, it hits bottom in more of a pancake shape, because when you're fishing for live bait, you want a pancake at the surface, but as the net sinks, the lead line closes together into a ball and captures that white bait. Whereas for shrimp, you don't want that net to close. You don't want it to do what it's designed to do. So you add that strip of duct tape, which creates hydrodynamic drag, which prevents that net from closing in on itself and doing what it's designed to do. So you can use a cast net to catch shrimp, but you got to alter that cast net and you got to go to an area where there is shrimp. And oftentimes around full moons and new moons, you can find shrimp flowing out of the passes certain times of the year. My dad and I used to do that in the summertime, early summertime, around late spring. Every year we get some lanterns and sit over by Blinds Pass and catch shrimp. But I was pretty young, so I don't necessarily remember the specifics of the time of year, but I want to say it was late spring and through the summer. There's a lot of shrimp around, but there's literally shrimping groups that emphasize and talk about going shrimping from bridges and catching fresh local shrimp. So it is pretty funny. It is it's a whole thing. It's a whole culture. Holy moly, it's already 9:30. Where does the time go? That's crazy. What do we, let's see if we got another good question. What did we miss? Anything? Can you transfer your tickets to someone else? If you win a free ticket from an online show, they are donation gift certificates, and technically they are non-transferable. But we'll work with you to an extent if you're willing to work with us. So you can always call me and try to work that out. But yeah, the donation gift certificates, whether it's a charitable donation for a kids event or a nonprofit or a veterans group or the recent police charities we've been working with, sheriff office charities, basically all the donation gift certificates are not good during March, April, June, or July. The 4 busiest months of the year, you cannot use them because when the trips are running full, we don't want to handicap the business and not allow other people to go in our 4 busiest months of the year. But outside of that, you can use them anytime, not on a holiday week. So not the week of Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter. So very, very not limited. I won a gift certificate from a hotel. I'm not going to say the name of the hotel. But you couldn't use it, what was it? You couldn't use it January through July, and it couldn't be used any day except for Monday, Tuesday, or a Wednesday night. And then there was other blackout dates. Basically, you had like 6 weeks out of the whole year you could use this gift certificate, and it expired in 12 months. It was ridiculous. I was like, well, I might as well just throw this one away. So our gift certificates are not that bad, but they are free, so hopefully that takes some of the sting out of that. But yeah, the free trips are non-transferable. You can't use them during red snapper season or spring break. Hopefully that's understandable. Or the week of Christmas, Easter, or Thanksgiving. I sounded like one of those drug commercials where they start going into the side effects. You have bad headaches, you can take this pill today. It might make you die. or have explosive diarrhea, but it will cure your headache. Love those commercials. Come on, Josh, that was funny. Not even a chuckle. Did you give me the sound effect? I saw you reach. I appreciate that. I don't have my earphones on, so I can't enjoy the sound effects.
I gave you laughter first.
Let's see. Why can't you use the winning trips on holidays or red snapper season? We just talked about it. Those are the times a year that the boats are running full. So if we were to let everybody use the free trips that we absolutely give away for donations or during our live show, we couldn't do them as much. So if you want to use your donation gift certificates and free trips during Red Snapper and Christmas week, we'll just stop giving them away every week. Well, it looks like we are running out of time here, guys. So we are going to go ahead and give away our free 39-hour fishing trip for one guest. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the show, you can join us again next week for another episode of our Sunday night live stream show. We do these every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. And then don't forget as well, you can join us for the Supporters After Show for even more great content. And the Supporters Show is less crowded, and we have more time to answer your questions a little bit more intimately, if you know what I mean. So hopefully you can join us for the Supporters After Show by becoming a supporter today and helping us fund more of these great shows and continually inspire Josh to more innovate our inclusive online show. I don't know. I was going somewhere with it. I lost it. Josh, let's find out who won. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of the live stream show. We'll see the supporters in about 5 minutes on the Supporters After page, and hopefully we'll see you all soon inside John's Pass at Hubbard's Marina. Gene Hancock from Plant City checking in. Gene, you just won yourself a 39-hour fishing trip. Don't forget to claim that free trip within about 5 minutes to claim that trip and prove you were watching live. We'll see the rest of you in the Supporters After show. And don't forget, if you're